Here's verse 17 of the 15th chapter, Gospel of Matthew. The disciples have just asked Jesus to explain the statement he made earlier in the chapter, in which he said it's not what goes in the mouth that defiles, but what comes out of the mouth. Of course, for these men who had grown up in the traditions of Judaism with clear distinctions between clean and unclean, and the tendency to attach to the particular food that particular descriptive idea, this came as a bit of a shock to them, and so they're asking Jesus now to explain this to them, and Jesus thinks they probably should have figured it out by now, so he puts the question to them. We have the negation, noieta, from noieo, based on the word nous, which means mind. Don't you understand is the notion. It's a second person plural, present active indicative. Don't your minds grasp would be the notion. Don't you get this? Do you not understand? Hoti, the conjunction, that. Pon, from pos, pasa, pon. This is the neuter. It's in the singular, so every is the way you render it with the definite article used with a participle here. Every, the. Eis poru omenon. Eis peruomai, of course, means to enter, to go in. With the adjective, or with the article here, it's the present participle. Every, the entering. Eis, this, of course, goes along with the earlier eis. Eis to stoma, the stoma for mouth. The word stomach comes from that. Every, the entering into the stomach thing is implied. It's the neuter here. Then Jesus continues, giving this little rudimentary anatomical discussion, entering into the mouth. Eis, again, into, attain, kolion. Kolion is kind of a broad word. It can mean the stomach, which is what it probably suggests here, really more the belly. It's actually also used for the womb. So that inward part, you might say, the bowels is the notion. So don't you understand that the entering into the stomach, then from there into the belly, kore, from kora, means a space, a region, an area, but it in the verb form usually means to go away, is to depart into a space. Into the belly goes is the idea, third person singular, present active indicative. Kai, into, again the same preposition, into. Aphedrona, this is from aphedrone. It's a couple of words, off from apo, and hedria is the underlying noun, which is actually an idea of sitting. Together, sitting from, and from that is the notion of a privy or an outhouse is the idea. So this is referring to the fact that you eat something, it goes into your belly, and eventually in the outhouse, ekbaletai, it is cast out. Using this somewhat polite language to describe what is the ordinary bodily functions involved. And of course, Jesus' point here is to say that the food passes through the biological mechanisms of the body. It doesn't touch the soul. It's not that this food is somehow reaching the moral condition of a person. This is probably news to these disciples who were accustomed to thinking in terms of evil being tied up metaphysically in certain substances. Jesus repudiates that. That the food itself is indifferent, it's not any kind of necessarily intrinsic moral condition, and that's going to lead him later to construe the idea that it's what comes out of the mouth, that it's out of the abundance of the heart that the mouth speaks, and that's exactly what Jesus is going to emphasize here, but the food itself doesn't touch the heart, and thus is incapable of defiling a person, except insofar as if Jesus, or if God gives a rule, don't eat that, and then you do eat it in disobedience to God, then that, of course, has a moral meaning to it, but the thing in itself, apart from some command of God, doesn't have any intrinsic moral condition one way or another.